welcome to Creating with Gorilla Art. We're doing a super cute one. That's what I'm calling it, super cute, the child. And if you've seen Mandalorian, which you probably have if you've purchased this kit, then you will find him just as cute as I do. Creating with Gorilla Art. Today we're going to be learning to paint the child. We've got a beautiful sunset background. We've got the dusty road that you might find the child walking on, and there's a lot of pictures of the child out there that you can paint, but I just thought it'd be super cute to do the one with the frog. At least it looks like a frog. It's probably called something else, but isn't it cute? Let's get started. Let's talk about the colors we're going to need. It's a little messy. I apologize, my plate spilled. But you are going to need white, yellow, brown, pink, orange, black, blue, and of course, green. All right? You're going to need a paper towel, a water bowl to clean your brushes. I'm going to be using a little sponge here to paint the background, so you'll need a sponge. And as far as brushes go, pretty much any brush. Right here I've got a little round brush, and we've got a little detail brush. Let's show you that one. And that's what you're going to need to make our Yoda. I've got my canvas here. This one is pre-drawn on. If you ordered a kit from me, you'll get the pre-drawn. Let's get started, shall we? All right, so I always like to do the background a lot. I usually do that first. So we're going to take our sponge. We're going to be dipping in. Right now, I think we'll just dip in the orange. And I'm just going to go back and forth. I really just want to kind of get this color on here, and I'm making sure I do the tips, the tops, a little bit right there. And I went about a quarter of the way down. And now I'm going to double dip in the yellow and the orange. Doesn't matter which one first. This is how we blend our colors. I'm going to tap off some of that. I had a lot of orange left. And now I'm just picking up yellow. And the yellow is what's going to come down in here. Just like that, back and forth. And notice I'm doing just long strokes. You see that beautiful blending of colors? Just yellow at this point. And what I like to do, it's the same with the brush. I like to press it and drag it right along any lines. Oops. So that I got the line of his ear. Add a little more paint, and I'm going to just press it right along his ear and drag it all the way above his head. You know, I just started watching this Mandalorian, and it is fantastic. I love it. I was nervous to watch it because I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I'm really pleased with it. So I'm dipping a little bit in the orange again, and I'm just going to come up using the corner of my brush and just put in some streaks in there of the orange. I'm not like laying it flat. I'm literally using just the corner. And this is creating some cool little streaks. Dip again. And every time I see the child, I'm just oohing and awing. How cute he is. Dipping now just straight in the yellow, and I'm doing the same thing using the edge. Might find a different edge though, something that doesn't have any orange on it. I'll come in here and put some streaks, just very gentle streaks. Isn't that fun? Let's see, and underneath his ear it does have the yellow, the sunset back there. So I'm just going to kind of repeat that process. I've got a lot on my sponge already, and I'm just going to drag it right there. If you have trouble with your sponge at this point, you can always switch over and use your brush right now. But I'm just gonna make do. And sometimes it helps to turn your canvas. I like to turn it when I'm on little spots. Not pretty. I think I'm gonna add some more yellow to it after it dries a little bit, but for right now, I love that background. Beautiful. Okay, so the next thing is I want you to blow dry. After you get caught up, blow dry this really good with your blow dryer, and then meet me back here for the next step. So I did forget a color here. All right, so we've got the top done, and the next thing I want to move on to is our background, or our ground. And we're gonna just start off with kind of a light brown, and what I'm gonna do is dip in the white and the brown, and I'm just gonna do kind of a dusty, I say dusty, but that's the wrong word, but it's just a very light wispy paint back and forth. And I did not mix my colors. I literally just dipped in the white and dipped in the edge of the brown, and I'm letting it kind of mix on my canvas. And what that does is it creates some texture. Do you see that? How we have some streakiness in there? This is gonna have lots of layers. Make sure you come over here and you get the edges and underneath. This is kind of, if you think about it, it's those, you know, dusty dunes, or I don't know. I want it to look like sand or something. I'm not sure. Back and forth, double dip it. And this is just one layer. You know, we're going to be adding to this. Got to do the sides. Underneath here. And it can be kind of messy. Doesn't have to be perfect because, you know, like I said, it's going to textured, a textured area. All right. We're going to come in here and paint this whole little area underneath his little outfit. I don't want to call it an outfit. What it is, it's robe. So what I'm doing is I am mixing, or at least double dipping, a little yellow and a little brown. Actually, I did mix it. I want a very light golden brown. And I'm just going to press and drag it along the line. Press and drag. And these brush strokes are a little more purposeful. They're not like crazy like you can do here. I am very purposeful, kind of brushing it down, keeping it very golden and very light, the color. When I saw the show and he was playing with the frog, I knew immediately I was going to have to paint it with the frog in his mouth. It was just too cute. I loved it. My husband knew too. He saw it and he's like, uh-oh, I see a painting coming on. I'm like, that's so funny. There's lots of cute pictures of the child that I've seen that you can paint. But you know what? I've never seen anybody paint the frog in his mouth. So there you go. We will be the first. I'm sure they're out there, but I didn't really see any. So I'm pressing and dragging, mixing those two colors up together. It's pretty much equal parts of yellow and equal parts of that brown. And I like it. It's very golden. It's looking good. We may have to do a couple of coats, but that's okay, right? Just, You can switch over to your detail brush if you need to, but for right now I'm just making do with this brush that I have. That's so cute. Here we go. Just getting all the little details. Okay, I like that. So now I'm going to paint down in here, and we want it to be a shade darker, I think, than this. So instead of equal parts of yellow, we're going to do, and yellow and brown, we're going to do a little bit more brown than yellow. But you still want that yellow in there because we want it very golden. And we're going to do several coats of this as well. Lots of layers. Here we go. They're so cute. I'm going to switch over to my skinnier brush. And up here is going to be a little darker too. It's kind of those layers of his robe. Here we go. And I'm not going to worry about too much else because we will be putting in another coat. I can tell you right now, it definitely needs another coat, although I will come in and put this in because this is darker. It's supposed to be darker there. Sorry. Sometimes it's hard to see. There we go. And we'll put in more layers, but for right now, that's a great beginning. So go ahead and get caught up with that. Remember that we did white and brown on this sand parts. And then here we did yellow and brown, lighter up in here, and then a little darker there. Go ahead and get caught up, give it a great blow dry, and then come back to me. Welcome back. So the next step is we're just going to be getting that base coat of the child in there. And we're going to be using green, but it's not going to be this dark green, okay? We've got to mix some colors here together. And I'm going to mix yellow right in there. And I'd say 50-50 of it. Okay? 50-50 yellow, or yellow and green. And I'm going to press and drag right along. I wonder if I should add a little white. I am going to add a little white. So here's my mixture. A little dollop of green, dollop of yellow. So I'm mixing that up right there. See that? And I don't know. I just think that this, because he's younger, he's a little paler green than like maybe Yoda is, because he's the child. So I added a dollop of white, and I'm a little happier with that color. And like I said, my secret is to press and drag. And if it's white, you know, you didn't put enough paint or you just need to add more paint. And I'm just gonna come all the way around. And we'll be putting in all the details later, but I just want to get that, you know, that green. This is his base coat on. So cute. I'm gonna say that the whole time. So cute. Because his, you know, the child is cute, right? Every time he comes on the screen, he's cute. And if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's a fantastic show. Okay. And I'm just painting. See how I'm painting kind of a circular way? And this I'm painting down. And then back and forth like this. So cute. See, I said it again. How many times am I going to say so cute? I can't help it. All right. I'm liking it. And then I'm gonna, right underneath there, it can get a little confusing, but right under, like if that's the frog, right under there, that's where I'm gonna paint it. Okay, it's close. You can switch out if you need to. I think that's supposed to be brown there. I'll have to come back and add the brown. But before I move on, I'm gonna want to get everything. Well, I'm just gonna paint that nose because I can add it later. There. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to do the inner ear. And I'm going to take a smidge of pink and I'm going to add it to that pile. Just a smidge of pink into the pile of that green right here. And I'm going to paint that in. We'll probably even make it pinker, but this is just our base coat, so I like that. It's supposed to be a little lighter inside of his ears. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to do my other ear. We'll come in and do a little pinker. Right now, like I said, this is great. All right, so I'm just washing my brush. I am going to come back in with my detail brush and try and match that brown there and fill this in here. All right, yeah, I like that. Cute. All right, so I'm going to take my brush. I cleaned it real good. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add just a little bit of this green to this blue. You want it to be more blue than green, but I just want that blue to have a little tinge of that green in there. That came out great. And I'm going to paint the body of my frog. That cute. Oh, I said it again. Yeah, you got to keep track of how many times I said it. I'm thinking I should switch over to my detail brush. And I'm going to do that. Switch. Thank goodness for detail brushes. Okay, come over here. Everything's gonna need a second coat, I can tell. Get over here. All right, long little, oops, that got a little fat. I have to fix that. You know, the key is not pressing too hard. If you press too hard, you get a fatter line. And we don't want, you know, fat lines. I mean, sometimes you do, but right now we don't. So you really should, I really encourage to practice your brush strokes. That makes me real happy. So I'm going to wash my brush. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to put in some details. I'm actually going to repaint this a little bit real quick. And cleaning my brush. So remember our combination. Oh, I need to add more brown. We're going to use 50% brown, 50% yellow. So got that. I'm trying to get, let's see, a little more yellow there. Trying to match it up. I just want to get as close as I can to that original color we did. And I'm just going to try and do it pretty fast. Now I'm going to add a little darkness to that. Okay, so got that colored in. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in with my detail brush. And I'm going to dry it real good. Just going to come in with brown, solid brown. And I'm going to start to trace, or at least I should say outline some of these things. And sometimes when you pull in a little line like that, see how I did that? It adds a little crease. And if you're wearing clothes or a robe, they have lots of little creases in there, you know? You don't want to do too much that it's overpowering. But just a couple little creases look great. I'll show you what I mean. Nice close up. See how I did a couple little dark streaks? And you should practice. As I've said, you shouldn't have thick, really thick strokes. It should be thinner. And the way you get the thinner is by not pressing too hard. There we go. I just did a couple. Come in here. And I'm going to make it darker. Remember that one that we had? I want it to be real dark because if you think about it, where you're going to have shadow right underneath his chin. So I'm going to add a small, and I mean a tiny bit of black to that brown. It was very small. You don't want this to be black. It's just supposed to be a very, very little bit. And I'm just going to paint this just a little darker in here. It's getting pretty dark, and that's okay. Right in there. See that? I think that's coming out. That looks really good. What do you guys think? Show you there. So I'm going to clean my brush, and you know what? I'm going to come back and I'm just going to give that frog a second coat. Good. That makes me super duper happy. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint his eyes brown. I'm just going to get my bigger brush here. They're pretty, it's a dark brown, but I'm just going to start off with brown right now. Oops. There is a little tiny black, I think, on my brush. A little black and brown. And I am leaving a little bit, and I mean a little bit, of white. And if you accidentally paint over it, we'll add that white later. So not a big deal. The child has really big eyes. Press and drag will get you the closest to it. I've got to lift mine up a little so I can get even closer. And that's okay. I'm going to get a little closer here. Cute. Oh, I said it. Oh my God, I'm cracking myself up today with all those. So it got a little wonky right there. Like, we'll have to fix that, but that's okay. I think we're going to come in and put some more colors of our Yoda. I call him Yoda, but he's really not Yoda, right? He's the child. Okay. Making that real light green again. And the top of his head's going to be even lighter, so I made it yellow and green and a little bit of white. And I'm going to come in. Look at how I started to do that little dip right there. And it's going to get lighter. And this, you got to think about like where the light source is coming from. In this case, it's a sunset, so really the sun is, you know, behind him. But I think that the light is still going to be shining on a little lighter right in here. And I'm using a very dry brush. So this is called a dry brush technique. I'm just going to kind of, I like to have everything start from like an imaginary where his nose is kind of pulling out a little bit. Because that's how Yoda, everything is kind of coming out from that direction. Haven't added any paint to my brush. Just using what little I got on there. See, I added his little nose in there. Now under here, right, that's going to be a lot darker. Very light brush strokes. Look at that. And what it's doing is just adding texture. I'm not trying to cover up the whole thing. I'm just trying to add that texture in there. I haven't added any paint. It's that dry brush. Look at what it did. When you first start painting, you want to start off with your color right here where it's going to be saturated, and then that's it. Don't add any more. Look at how I didn't add any more. Now we're going to come in there in a second. We're going to add some pinks because he's a baby, he's a child. He's going to have what makes him look more like a baby is the pinks that's in there. So I haven't added any paint, but I did add a little bit of pink to my brush, and we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to do his ear right there. Now see how that starts off with a lot? I'm going to maybe tap my brush a little bit, take off some of that paint, and then come in here. I'm going to use, sometimes I use my finger to kind of blend in colors a little bit. I like that. I'm going to tap in the pink again, and I'm going to wipe some off because I don't want a lot. I'm going to come in here. See how I'm softly doing this? Really not a lot of paint. See how soft and subtle that is? So I dip it in the paint, the pink. There's about that much, not much. Where is it? Here. And then I'm going to tap, tap, tap. Tap it off. That's called offloading. And then I'm going to come back over here. A little more. Offload. It's better just to keep trying over and over till you know, you might have to add some more. See, that's too much. Offload. And I'm just gently doing this. It's very gentle. Okay. I'm going to add a little pink again. We're just working with those pinks. Offload a little bit. And right above his eye, he had pinks. I haven't seen all of it. Have we established it's a he? And maybe a she. I don't know. All right, offload. Right above. And you don't want to see this strong pink color. You want it to be very gentle looking. I still have a little of that pink, and you know what? Now I'm just going to dip a smidgy into the yellow, and I feel like I want to do like a little cheeky. And the light bounce off. It's such little paint that I'm working with. You really need to be aware of that. All right, I wiped that off, and I'm going to dip a little bit into the white, and I'm pouncing because I really don't want a lot. Oops, see, that's going to be too much. I'm going to come right underneath here with that white. I'm going to actually take a smidge of green and put it in that white because I don't want it too starking white. But it has to be like a super uber duper light. So we're adding those low lights and those highlights. It's really starting to look like the child. Just adding those little ridges, and those wrinkles, because he has a lot of wrinkles, doesn't he? Just coming in here, see I'm adding that in. Very dry brush. Come up here. I'm going to make this light, real light up in here. Just dragging my brush. I really have such little paint on it at this time. I'm going to put it in the water for now though, and I'm going to grab my little detail brush. And in that mixture that you had that green, I'm going to add a little more green. I want it a little darker, and I'm going to come over here. We're doing very detailed stuff, people. This is not easy peasy. A lot of details, and you've got to really pay attention to how much paint you have on your brush, and just taking your time and not rushing. This is the difference. This is the difference between, you know, a good artist. I'm barely pressing. Just wanted to have a little darkness in there. And I do think he needs to be a smidge darker underneath here. Just a smidge. That might be too dark. Because that frog's gonna cast kind of a shadow. So, but you don't want him as dark as like the frog. See? Cute. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and start to put in his nose. I said cute again. Up there, up on the top is going to be a little lighter. And his nose is going to be smidgy pink too, so I'm adding a little pink. And tap it in. Oops. Got a little green in there, but that's okay. I think I want him to be a little, his cheeks to be even pinker, so I put a little pink on my finger. Tap, 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 offload it, and then I'm just going to tap it in until I'm comfortable with how pink it is. Somehow I think, oops, it got too dark in there. It's gonna even look more like once we get his eyes looking good. There we go. That was better. Oh, that pink is a little pinky. So cute. Oh, I said it again. That's what we'll have to call this painting. So cute. All right, that's pretty fun. He's really starting to look, and we've got a lot more details to put in. But I think one thing I want to start doing is really developing those eyes a little more. So I'm using my detail brush, and I've dipped it in the black. And we're going to outline, and I'm going to lose even more of that white. I just don't want that much white. It's really just have such little. Okay, so we're winging it here. I just painted the whole thing black. I didn't like how it was showing up. It might be hard for you to see on the camera, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. So I'm holding it up, making sure that it's got a good shape. You got to do that to yours too. Really just step back and look at it and think, hey, am I happy with the shape of his eyes? And if for some reason you make a mistake and it gets too big or it gets whatever, if you catch it right away while it's wet, you probably could wipe it off, you know. Okay, so very cute. Oops, I gotta get a little rounder here. It's looking, I'm liking them. I'm liking them. All right. Added, I didn't realize it wasn't filming, but I just added a little white to the edges. And then we're going to put in a little reflection, I think. So I'm going to do the bottom of my brush. Yeah, I like that better. Since it is a little cartoonish anyways. Oh, look what I did. I got a little paint. I don't know. Maybe I could get it off. Hold on. Yeah, look. I just took a little, wet my finger, and I got off that little black paint that I had under there. I think I'm going to come in. I want to add a little more of a darkness under there. So I'm just adding dry brush. Way up here. I just want it to be a little darker. Almost when you have the shadow, it's kind of gives a little dimension. Yeah, like that. This just needs to be blended in. I don't want it to be like a full line. I like the way that looks though. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you think the eyes are looking good? I think so too. I like it. Add a little line right in here. A lot of details this painting has, as you can tell. Not too hard to paint, but definitely a lot of details. Be master painters when you're done. So I'm adding a little darkness there and a little darkness here. And you know, I think I'm going to come in and make him a little, right down in here, a little darker. And I have to do the same here. Now our little frog had some lighter little stripies. So let's put those in. Okay, so I just took a little bit of blue, added a little white, and a smidge of green. And we're gonna use that to paint the little stripes. And they're just kind of random, I think. Comes a little lighter up in there. You know, do them where you want. I don't think it matters too much. Cute. All right. I'm gonna make a little darker, just a smidge. To that original green and blue, I'm adding a little black. And I'm just gonna darken it up underneath right there. And what I did right there where the lip is, right there, I added a little black right at the top. Very detailed stuff, you guys, so I hope I'm not overwhelming you. We're really in the home stretch. We only have a couple little things to do. And that looks a little wonky. I'm gonna fix that real quick. What I want to do now is I want to just make this a little more dusty. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of green on it like that. I'm going to do a couple colors. I dipped in brown and I dipped in green. And I'm just kind of doing a very kind of messy textured paint. I want it to look like you know, dirt or something. Just like maybe you don't even know what it is, just in the background. Dusty, dusty, dusty. A little more brown. I think it lost that brown. But be very careful because you don't want it to obviously blend in with him. Okay. You gotta really, you know, even leave a little light if that's what you need to do. That lightness in there. I think I'm gonna add some lighter brown right in there because I don't want it to blend in even a little bit. I don't want it to blend in. And I'm just gonna kind of take my finger or use your brush. Get it kind of dusty. I don't know why I'm using the word dusty today, but there we go. I'm liking that. That looks so good. All right, so we're gonna have a little fun on the top of his head because our cute little cute little child had some fuzzy whiteness on the top of his head. And I'm going to dip my skinny little brush in the white, and I'm just going to kind of do these very fast. I'm not pressing hard at all, and I'm moving quickly and doing it different directions. Little peach fuzzes. The key is not pressing hard. I'm just using the tip. I'm going to come all the way over here, and his little, if you look at the picture of him, they're all over. It's just fuzzy. Oh, I got white on there. I'll have to fix that. So let me take that time, get this off while it's wet. Somehow I got white on there. It's all right. Anyways, look at his little, isn't that cute? Those little peach fuzzies. I'm doing real long ones over here, and they're kind of slanting. I'm not pushing too hard. And he has little fuzzies everywhere. Little fuzzies. Okay. That looks a lot of fun. Look at that. Let me get close up. Oh, he makes me happy. Maybe a little more. I don't know. You don't want to overdo it, right? I'm pretty happy with the way my little child is looking. And I think the last thing to do is to put my name on the bottom, my initials, TB. I'm pretty happy. I hope that you like yours. I know there was a lot of detail in this, but don't get frustrated. Sometimes, you know, it could look bad before it gets good. That happens a lot. Like halfway through, you might be feeling frustrated, but keep with it. And just sometimes you got to walk away from it and then come back and look at it, and you see something else that maybe you like or want to change. And that's okay. That's part of the process. It's supposed to be fun. And I hope you learned a little bit of something today. A lot of detail in this one, and it was definitely fun to teach it. And I love the child. It's so cute. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to catching you on the next Creating with Grilla Art. Bye.